Alright, hello again everyone. Just a quick video today to go over the first 5 problems of the 9.4 to 9.5 RSG. So starting number 1, part A, they wanted us to predict what would happen in the 10th year. I identify that the years are an x value and that the equation given y equals 20.97x plus 40.6. So I make a substitution where the letter x gets replaced with the number 10. After that, I was just typing on a calculator to get an answer of 250 and 3/10, and realizing that a y value is the number of patties made. So that's in his 10th year, he makes 250.3 patties. Part B was super similar, except this time you're checking for when x is the 5th year, and that's we're plugging in x is 5, same as before, same equation. Use a calculator to get 145 and 45/100ths patties. And finally, in part C, we start to use our new idea from yesterday with residuals. And it's using your answer from part B, that's what the equation predicted would happen in year 5, and then using the table to see what actually happened in year 5. So we go with actual minus predicted. In year 5, he actually made 158 patties. In part B, we predicted that in year 5, he would make 145.45 patties. So actual minus predicted, 158 minus 145.45 is 12.55. I can then interpret that residual, since it's positive, as saying the actual value was 12.55 higher than the predicted value. And that means we under-predicted. Our prediction was lower than the actual value. So you could also say we under-predicted by 12.55. Moving on here to number 2. And this time we just had to first interpret the slope, that since it was negative, I knew it was a decrease by 0.78 hours. For every 1 hour watching TV, that's 0.78 hours less that you spend on your homework. B was the y-intercept, so here I found a y-intercept of 26.12 and interpreted 0, 26.12 as x is 0, that's 0 hours watching TV. And then y is 26.12. That's 26 and 12/100ths hours on your homework. Finally, part C now was another prediction. So what happens after 15 hours? That's an x value. So using their equation, using x is 15, and typing the rest on a calculator, I got that when you spend 15 hours on homework, or I'm sorry, that's 15 hours watching TV. When you spend 15 hours watching TV, I predict you spend 14.42 hours on your homework. So moving over to problem number 3. This time it was predict what happens after 4 hours in a new problem, new equation. So that's x value is 4. I can see the table, hours studied. Hours studied here is 4. And so I plug that into the equation. When x is 4, use a calculator to get that 4 hours of studying should lead to a test score of 98.12. Then in part B, we see 3,90. 3,90, that's that point right there. That's an actual point on the scatter plot. That was a real value in our table. We can see the line for it didn't go through that point. The prediction line went above there. So when they ask us how those compare, we're going to say our line was over predicting what actually happened. That at 3 hours, the line predicted maybe about 92, which was above the actual score of 90. And that's the actual point at 90 versus the line that predicted something a little higher. In number 4, this time we're interpreting the slope, negative 0.73. We've done this before. I like to build the context, rise over run, y over x, so it's easier for me to see the x value for every 1 hour spent texting, and then the y value. You spend 0.73 hours less because it was negative exercising. So 1 hour more of texting is 0.73 hours less exercising. Y-intercept here at 8.73 is 0 hours texting and 8.73 hours of exercising. And finally, another prediction. What happens with 5 hours of texting? Well, we know the texting is the x value, so I put x is 5 in the equation. That's the equation that they gave us over here. Come up with an answer of 5.08 hours exercising. That's if you text for 5 hours, you exercise for 5.08 hours. And finally, last problem for today, number 5. This time we're talking about how many seconds you tap on a can of soda to prevent it from exploding and spraying everywhere. And X is the seconds spent tapping the can. Y is how much soda is left, measured in milliliters, after it all sprays out. So interpreting the slope, again, building that rise over run Y over X, then I can see X is the seconds tapping the can. So for every 1 second that you tap the can, and Y is positive, so you're going to get 2.63 more milliliters of soda left. Y-intercept of 248.6, that's when X is 0. If you tap for 0 seconds, then Y is, there will be 248.6 milliliters of soda left. And finally, a prediction. So what happens if you tap the can for 10 seconds? And of course, we expect that's going to give us more soda because it's not going to spray as much. So X is the seconds tapping the can, that's X is 10. Type that in on a calculator, and sure enough, instead of tapping for 0 seconds, you only had 248.6 milliliters left. If you tap for 10 seconds, you're going to have 274.9 milliliters left. That's all for today. You can now work ahead on the rest of this RSG. That's numbers 6 through 11. Thank you very much.